and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to kickstart a new segment on my channel that I want to call Tea with Lee. So I've got some jasmine tea here, and if you want to join me for a chatty little video, I'm going to take you through my traveler's notebooks and what I'm messing around with right now. First off, I've got the cloth and paper traveler's notebook. This came in the June sub box, which I just put out a review on if you guys want to check out that unboxing. And at first I was kind of disappointed about the size of it. As you can see, it's a lot smaller than the classic traveler's notebook size. But now that I've used it for about a week, I'm pleasantly surprised and I'm actually slightly obsessed. It's the perfect like clutch wallet size to just kind of grab and go. And I'm currently using this as my garden journal. So opening up and diving right in, it has 4 notebooks. And in the front here, this looks kind of funny, but what I did is I have some green dot stickers from cloth and paper, and then I put some washi tape on the back. This is so that while I'm using my notebook and I'm out and about, I don't have a roll of washi tape I have to carry with me, and I can easily stick stuff in here without this big bulky round thing that I have to somehow fit into this notebook. And it's just a bit more of a compact way of carrying stickers and washi. It's not the cutest, but I think it works. The first notebook I want to show you guys, this is the monthly admin. And you'll notice I put these little washi stickers on all of the notebooks just to give it a little personality. But this one, this is what it looks like blank. It's a calendar with important dates, notes, and tasks. And I am currently using it for my garden plans. So on the important dates, I'm putting down when things are blooming, when I planted seeds. I've got my to-do list over here. And I'm using those green stickers to mark out important days. So like I marked out the day that my nasturtium first bloomed. This is so in the future I can look at, okay, what day did I plant it? What day did it bloom? What day did I harvest? And that kind of thing. Nasturtium is a flower, so I'm not concerned about harvest, I'm more concerned about bloom. And this way I've got a running record, and I can use that to adjust my planting times for next year. And I did go through and I backfilled a couple months as best as I could. April was when my son was a newborn, so I really didn't do any gardening in April. Things just kind of did their own thing. And then March is when I first started this year's garden with my jalapeno starts. But now that that is backfilled, most of it I did in May, and now we're going into June where the garden is starting to produce. So I'm getting some harvest. I'm seeing my first bell pepper is growing right now, and that's very exciting. And that leads me into the next notebook, which is the executive notebook. Now when it's blank, it looks like this, but I'm using it for garden notes. So I'll go out in the garden and I'll put down the date and then just some quick notes about what I'm noticing. So for example, I noticed aphids on the rose. I need to get some neem oil to deter those. Neem oil is also good for deterring scale bugs, which are on another one of my plants. I'm noticing like my pole bean is doing really good. It's almost completely taken over the trellis that I put for it. I'm noticing like more sunlight and like my first harvest, like my cilantro is bolting. So these are just really quick daily notes that I can go back and refer to for more in-depth planning. So this has been really fun for just quick notes. I really enjoy this layout. It looks really neat, and I hope they put this on the members only shop so I can buy like 5 more and just have on hand for longevity purposes. Next is the dot grid. I really didn't know what to put in this one. I was thinking about doing a weather tracker, but I decided against it just because my growing climate is kind of different from my local weather. So while my city might have a nice temperature, my patio is like 5 degrees hotter. I am probably going to one day get a garden thermometer to put out there so I can track it for myself. But for right now, I'm turning this into a like kind of scrap notebook ledger type situation. So you can see I wrote down when I purchased some supplies, when I got my green stock, and then my harvest, because I think it'd be kind of cool to see how much I'm pulling out of my garden and the cost ratio of how much it costs to put it together versus how much it produced. Now, I'm 100% sure it's not going to pay for itself in any means. Pots and potting soil and things like that are very expensive versus the 2 roses and head of romaine that I pulled out of my garden so far. But regardless, I think it'll just kind of be fun to track. And then lastly, we have the task planner. Now, my patio isn't that big. I don't have a huge laundry list of things to do in my garden. Hopefully one day I'll have a house with a big yard and I can have a big, beautiful garden and more stuff to do than I have to fill a notebook, but that's not the case right now. So for the task planner, I actually am using it just as a place to keep photos of my garden so I can see progress over time. This is really small, so it might be hard for you guys to see, but I've got my peppers here, I've got my rose bush, my rosemary bush, and then this is an experiment where I've got a bell pepper surrounded by romaine lettuce. I've got my first nasturtium bloom that came in this year. I've got my green beans, which since this was taken a week ago, they have completely filled in this trellis. And then my green stock garden, which I am so obsessed with. It's a vertical garden and you can fit a ton of plants in a really small area. So it was perfect for my small patio. And I want another one. I'm trying to convince my fiance to get me one because they're kind of expensive, but I mean, I personally think it's worth it for the enjoyment I get out of it. And I've seen people grow full on like pumpkins and watermelons and stuff like that out of these green stalks. They are next level. But so this notebook is just all about record keeping, and this is where that washi is coming in that I just kind of stuck in here. And what I did for these is I used my Kodak Retro mini printer, and on my phone I took a picture of what I've got out there and I made a collage so that way it shrinks it down and I can do 2 photos on one piece of paper. That's just kind of to save money, and also it would bulk up really quickly if I had full on pictures of each of these items. But this way it's just a really cute little mini overview. So I'm going to try to do regular progress pictures and put them in here so I can also refer back to this and I can see what date and what was going on in my garden at that time, like a fun little snapshot. I have been having such fun with this little notebook. As you can see, I also have the pen from the sub box just clipped on the side here, and it fits perfectly in that rounded space. I think it's the perfect size for quick notes without being overwhelming, because I think if I tried to fill a regular A5 sized notebook with it, it would just become too much and it would be like another chore. This is super easy to just grab, jot down notes, and then go about the rest of my day without needing to like backfill or like fill up a page with information. I would one day love to have a garden big enough that I could fill volumes and volumes of books with journal notes, but for right now, this little pocket one is perfect. And I'm hoping really soon to get more of these inserts so that I can have a stockpile, and when one of them fills up, I can just swap it with another and I can start a whole collection. Now the other traveler notebook that I want to talk about is this one that I got off Amazon. I wanted to get the Traveler Company one, but I just couldn't justify spending the money on it when I don't know if I'm gonna like it or not yet. So I got this one from Amazon. So I'm kind of using this journal as a funny little way to trick myself into studying more. So I'll explain more in a sec, but opening it up, I've got this brass clip on the side here. And that is holding a picture of my fiance and I with our son. I'm blurring out the faces just for privacy's sake, but it's nice to just open it up and immediately get a little sentimental look at my family. And on these notebooks as well, I put more of those washi stickers, which you can tell I'm a little obsessed with the greenery, and they just add a little something something. you know. But so the way I'm using this journal to trick my brain is I'm putting my school notes in here. And let me break down that process for you. So these are my regular class notes. It's where I go through the PowerPoint and my homework and just make notes about what we're learning in class. And then after I do the homework, I get a good idea of the key points that I need to refer back to. I do my quick and dirty notebook, and then I come over to my study notebook and I transfer it in, and it's a bit more cohesive. So I've been printing up examples from the textbook and then putting my notes for those examples on the side for each category. And this way I have a lot more clear of a picture, because if I were to write out some of these graphs and stuff like that, it just becomes really messy really quickly. So printing it out, I've got a perfect reference to go back to, and then I've got color-coded entries for all my different things. This just really helps with putting things together, you know, seeing where the red is for an expense versus green for cash, and then green for increases, red for decreases, different vocab and things like that. I can see the interest calculated here pulls over to the interest journalized over here. It makes sense. It makes my brain happy. And so far this has been very helpful for studying, because not only am I writing down my notes from here a second time, but I'm also analyzing them when I go through and highlight. It's just another layer of studying for me, and I think that's really going to help me nail down this course. And then when I go to take my exam, I've got all the important notes right here to refer back to. Now I am only on chapter 4 of my 10 or 11 chapter class, and this is over halfway full. So this grid one I'm going to move into next once I fill up this first one. So this notebook is currently empty. But going into the next section, I've got my academic in the front and then my creative in the back. So I'm going to take out these. I'll talk about those in a second. But I have this little pocket that I've got some stickers in. So I've got these dot stickers from Cloth and Paper, which I just like the color of them. They're nice to put in scrapbooking and stuff like that. And then I've got more stickers that came out of a scrapbooking kit that just have a bunch of different shapes and, you know, little scenery and stuff like that. So that I've been keeping in here. And then I use this little tab to close it up. Then this is my creative scrapbooking notebook, which I've got this plastic cover that fits around both sides. This is where I have just different scraps of paper and stickers. These are like some quotes. I've got more washi tape wrapped around on here for, once again, easy washi tape access without having rolls of washi tape on hand. And then the bigger items in the zipper pocket at the very back. But this is all about creativity. With my memory archive, it's memory keeping, so it's sentimental. There's photos in there, there's things in there that I hold near and dear to my heart. This is just pure creativity. So I've been experimenting with different colors and themes. This one I was going for like a greenery vibe. This one I was going for an academic theme. I've got like, you know, the study stuff. I've got the Thinking Man film over here and like a nice little quote that I enjoyed. And just really allowing myself to sit down and glue pieces of paper into a notebook without any consequence or, you know, wanting to make it look just right because it's for the memory archive. Like, this is just for funsies. And I've been enjoying it quite a bit. You can see this is my soft girl vibe I was going for. And then this one, I wanted to document this color story with the page flags from Cloth and Paper. So I did this whole blue spread with like some quotes and stuff like that I had. And here I've got my next spread, the papers ready to go, but I just haven't glued them in or sat down to do it yet. So this has been a lot of fun, and it's really nice when I do get a second between school, being a mom, upholding a household, and YouTube to sit down and just have a little fun without consequence. And then these washi books that I've been using, I'm obsessed with. They are so cute. This one just has a bunch of different plants. Here, I'll find some white paper to show you guys. So these are what the washi stickers look like. They have kind of like a transparency to them, which makes it really fun for layering. But this booklet is just full of, you know, mini quotes and fun little botanical drawings, which I am obsessed with. Botanical stuff with my garden, and just greenery makes me happy to look at. So the more green the better, which leads me to this one, which is called Sporadic Green. This one has more plants and stuff like that, but it also has like labels and some bigger quotes and just kind of decor type things. Like you can see these are like some paint swatches and, you know, labels here, random dots, just fun stickers that I can put around. And this one also in the back has paper for, and this one in the back also has scrapbook paper. So I can use this to start my layering process, or I could even cut out the different shapes and stuff like that and get even more creative with my scrapbooking. So this has been a really fun combination of creativity and academia, and there's something so satisfying about having this super heavy, thick notebook of just everything. Hacking my brain to want to study more by turning it into a creative thing and putting it in a journal that brings me such joy to grab. I'm a big believer in giving yourself nice things so that you'll be more productive. I have a nice planner because I want to reach for it and use it because it's nice and it appeals to me. And by doing so, I'm more productive because I'm planning my day. Now, I've really been enjoying the feel of the Traveler's Notebook. Part of me wants to try it out for a planning system, but another part of me is so in love with the Hemlock and Oak weekly planner that I don't want to part with it. I've been having so much fun with this, and I want to keep using it. It would be really cool if they did offer it in a Traveler Notebook size, but so far they don't. They just came out with a softcover A5 version, which is awesome, but it's still a larger A5 version, which I usually love A5 because I've got big handwriting. I love to fill out the pages like you saw. But then another part of me, oh, what is it, buddy? Sorry, my son strapped my chest. So maybe one day we will see a Hemlock and Oak Traveler sized, but for right now I think I'm going to stick with the Hemlock and Oak A5 and just use this for my schoolwork and my creativity stuff. And if they ever release the Traveler Notebook size, I'll just do a little swap out. But that is it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed this little chatty video. It's super laid back, just showing you guys kind of what I've been up to, and let me know if you have a Traveler's Notebook, what booklets you have, what you're using it for. Specifically if you got the cloth and paper one, I'm really curious to see how everybody is using theirs from the sub box. But if you enjoyed, go ahead, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!